Congenital talipes equinovarus deformity is the most common congenital anomaly or per se deformity of the foot in our daily OPD basis practice during our pediatric orthopedics patient. Now, the club foot is another name of congenital talipes equinovarus deformity. Why? Because the deformity of the foot seems to be just like a bat of the golf ball. So this name is called as club foot. And clinically it is characteristic by some deformity. And before going in details, I want to elaborate you regarding the foot anatomy. Otherwise, you cannot understand properly the deformity and the pathanatomy also. Generally, abnormal foot, if we draw some line, this is called as core foot. Just the from the Lisprang joint up to this tip toe is called core foot. From this joint up to this talonavicular area is called mid foot, and be, um, behind this talonavicular talus and calcaneum itself is called hind foot. Now, all the deformity lies in respect to the position of the tarsal bone and the metatarsal disposition. Now, congenital talipes equinovarus actually one type of packaging disorder. I will explain it later. The deformity lies in the midfoot ischiavus, means increase the height of the medial arch, and there will be a deep creases, and forefoot will be adducted. Adducted means this portion is called forefoot, that will be adducted, and hindfoot varus. Hindfoot varus means this is hind foot, the proximal portion of the foot, that will come inward deviation. This is called varus. So this is the main deformity of this talar or heel part. Now, if we look it from side, we can see the equinus or plantiflex position of the foot due to contracture of the ligament tendon Achilles insertion. So it is also a deformity in the hind foot. It is called equinus deformity. So as a total, it is called congenital talipes equinovarus deformity. Now to remember all the deformity, just remember CAVE, C-A-V-E. K for avus, A for adduction, V for varus, and E for equinus. Equinus come from the word horseshoe, horse foot. It is always present in this plantigate position. Now, what are the most common type of congenital talipes equinovarus deformity? Is idiopathic, means the cause not known. Now, due to some teratogenic effect also, like due to spina bifida, there will be some neurological condition may be present, like bilateral CTB, and associated with some hereditary or syndromic association. Now, regarding the pathoanatomy of the CTB, it has been proposed that after multiple dissection in the clubfoot patient who is stillborn, we have been we come to know the male culprit bone is talus. This is the talus. Sorry, and this is called navicular. Now, this talonavicular joint, due to adduction, and the main main culprit bone is talus. It will rotate medially, As a result, the talonavicular joint is displaced, and as a result, all the foot has been deformed. And the tibiotalar joint is always keep in plantigate position, and the calcaneum uh, keep in inverted position, and all the cuneiform bone along with the navicular has been medially displaced. And why it is occur? It is occurred due to very less space in the uterine cavity is the most common cause. It's called packaging disorder. Packaging disorder means uh, in case of nulliparous uterus or in case of oligohydramnios, there will be very little space for development of the limb bud. As a result, the deformity of the foot um, occur. This is called packaging disorder. Now, firstborn female child is the most commonly affected by this uh, CTB, and generally congenital CTB characteristic by bilateral. If it is unilateral, it may be due to secondary মানে causes like post-burn contracture or like any neurological problem or tibial hemimelia or tibia associated with foot deformity. Fibular hemimelia may be associated with CTB, but bilateral symmetrical cases generally present with congenital talipes deformity, and it is generally idiopathic. And regarding the muscle and tendon, the soft tissue in the medial aspect, posterior medial aspect, soft tissue get contracted, and due to this contracture, this deformity happened. And the muscle, capsule, and ligament, which are very important. Three muscle you have to know is hallucis longus, tibialis posterior, and flexor hallucis longus. And for ligament, deltoid, spring, and plantar all are contracted. And for capsule, subtalar joint, tarsal joint, and tarsometatarsal joint. These three joint capsule are involved. Three ligament, deltoid, spring, and plantar ligament is involved, and uh, the three tendon are involved. Now, this CTEB, when we get a case of CTEB, we should take a overall skeletal survey to find out on any other congenital association is present or not. Like from the hip, we can do a clinical examination, otolani or Barlow test, and to delineate that there is a congenital developmental dysplasia of hip. This is the deformity of the hip. In that case, the hip is dislocated generally. Yeah, and this is a this may be a association with CTB along with hyperextension of the knee. This is called congenital hyperextension of the knee, may be associated with CTB. Spina bifida may be associated with CTB along with the cleft lip, cleft palate, and syndactyly or polydactyly. And last but not the least, its syndromic association is called arthrogryposis multiplex congenita. Arthrogryposis multiplex congenita is also called as multiple joint contracture. Actually, this is a new name, and this is characteristic by seal-like limb, cylindrical limb, and there will be no creases. Sometimes we can get pterygium, means one skin fold around the joint, and joint contracture with this bilateral CTB with a typical coarse facies, syndromic facies. And in this case, generally it can be affect both upper limb and lower limb, or maybe affect only lower limb, or maybe affect only upper limb. And there are multiple types of varieties of arthrogryposis multiple congenita, and main pathogenesis of this deformity is muscle and nerve imbalance means in the neuromuscular junction when the nerve attached to the muscle there will some development due to some developmental problem uh, this junction the function of that junction cannot be uh, grow, grow properly. As a result this deformity and multiple joint contracture occur. This is called arthrogryposis multiplex congenita. The prognosis of this type of deformity is very bad because we cannot do much for this child. Only the physiotherapy and maximum we can do release, soft tissue release for pterygium of the pterygium means joint contracture and skin fold, and even for the CTB, if we go for multiple correction, the result is not up to the mark. So if there is any association of any type of deformity, first you have to address it properly and you have to refer it to the pediatrics orthopedic surgeon or the concerned department. Because suppose a patient suffering from CTB but you cannot address his DDH, then that will be very late to treat this DDH. So if there is no hip, there is no use of knee and ankle. So this is very important to have a look for follow whole body and make a note, and as well as referral system is needed. And one small notes of multiple arthroplasty multiple sclerosis or AMC. If we see the anatomy, we can get in the spinal cord the anterior horn cell may be absent in this arthrogryposis multiple congenita, and sometimes we can get absence of anterior atalius dorsalis pedis may be absent in this CTB child. I will tell the importance of this during the operation. Now sometimes we can get very stout, stubby, and rigid type of deformity. This is called resistant CTB. May be present most commonly in the Negro child or short hyperplex, big toe may be associated, and in Negro child generally affected this type of CTB. Now the deformity or the amount of deformity has to be documented, and when it get corrected, how or what amount of correction we can achieve, or is it not correctable, or it the correction is not progressive, or how we assess. There are some classification or some technique. First, De Gulmos has described a technique, but nowadays this is obsolete now. So Pirani et al. Means the Pirani is an scientist who orthopedic surgeon who has described the all the deformity by his grading, and recently as per modified Pirani he has been described that 10 points we have to see of a CTB foot, and after that the after the according to the degree of that deformity he have put 0, 0.5 and 1 score, and as a all total if the score is going to high means the deformity is very high. If the score going to less, then deformity will get less. And among the all 10 points, the only 1 points has been checked without any correction, that is lateral ridge of the or lateral border of the foot. This lateral border of the foot has have to check without touching the foot or without any attempt of any correction, that otherwise all the deformity like severity of the medial crease, severity of the posterior crease, medial, manular and navicular interval, palpation of the lateral part of the head, of, the talar head, ex- uh, and the heel feeling, the fibula and Achilles interval, rigidity of the equinus, rigidity of the adductors, and long flexor contracture of the ankle, and with maximum correction. All the deformity has have to be checked, each and every uh, corrective method, and you have to put the marks, and you have to uh, calculate the point. What is the utility? Utility is to assess the correction, that's all. But for undergraduate student, just know the name is called Pirani, who have create a scoring system which helps for evaluation of the CTB child, that's all. Now, regarding the treatment protocol of CTB, first Kites came with his correction method and plaster method, and but after doing multiple correction, we can see maximum relapse of that CTB deformity, and undertreated or maltreated, or there are multiple complications which needs multiple surgery, operative procedure, and end result is not the up to the mark. So uh, Dr. Ponsity have study a lot regarding this the pathoanatomy of the CTB. He thinks that Kites has been described the method in respect to to that the main problem was in the Lisfranc joint. He thinks the Lisfranc joint is the culprit joint which will get deformed. As a result, he put his thumb over this lateral aspect of the foot and over the Lisfranc joint and make it a fulcrum. He tried to abduct this foot, but doing this st- stretching, the deformity will not get corrected. The havas of the foot will going to increase. When Ponseti had done his minimum 50 dissection of the stillbirth child, he shows that the culprit bone is talus. If we don't go to reduce the talus, then whole all the tarsal bone, all the joint will get locked, and the calcaneum are locked under the talus. So first reduce the talar head, then reduce the first metatarsal drop, then go for abduction. Again I repeat, first reduce the talar head, then reduce or elevate the first metatarsal drop, then from the second plaster you will do the correction of the abduction. This is described by Professor Ponseti, and Ponseti worked a lot for he dedicated his whole life for correction of the CTB child, and he had a center where all the patient even from whole world coming to him for get the treatment. Now, regarding the treatment protocol, there is a special protocol for each and every Ponseti child. First, you have to take a clinical photogram and a program in the starting of the treatment, and proper counseling of family member and parents education regarding the disease, and you have to assure them it is not a curse, it is not a bad thing, it can be 100% correctable if they can follow our advice, and they can sticky to the treatment protocol. This is also called compliance of the treatment. Compliance means doctor will prescribe medicine or doctor has done his job, but patient will not follow doctor advice, and patient don't come for follow up. then he will lost that the achievement which already done for last 5 to 6 sitting. So that will cause more difficulty in case of treatment, and that will undue extension of the treatment total treatment duration, and um, as well as economical loss. So you have to be very clear enough regarding explanation of the treatment and the long duration of the treatment, and you have to take confidence of the family member, and you regarding the treatment protocol as far as the compliance is concerned. Now, before going to treat a CTB, you must know you are dealing really a case of CTB. Otherwise, it will be a medical legal negligence, or it will be over treatment, because some maximum child may look like a bow leg or physiological internal rotation of the foot, and but if we miss some point, then we can do over treatment, like metatarsal adductus. It is one type of deformity where the all metatarsal bone is adducted, or there is a small deformity of the foot. But if we can do a simple test, this is called a scratch test, means you will just scratch over the lateral aspect of the foot, and then baby will automatically fanning out his all the toes, and he will externally rotate his foot, and it will come to the normal position. Then you know you are dealing with a normal case. But in case of proper CTB child, that will never happen. Again, the heel scene test. All CTB problem is main problem is equinus with the cavus. Due to equinus, you never do this in a newborn child with in a with a CTB. This is called heel scene test. You cannot touch the dorsum of the foot with the shin border. So you before putting any patient in treatment protocol, you have to test for a normal, to exclude a normal foot, heel scene test and scratch test. Okay. Now you need a dedicated team, counseling center, plaster removal room, plaster room, waiting room, because after plaster you must wait for few hours, because sometimes due to over tightening of the plaster, patient can suffering from compromise syndrome, patient will cry, patient, and you have to look after the capillary return, because once patient go from your outdoor, you cannot do close surveillance. But if any complication occur, that may that will occur within 1 to 2 hours. So better counseling them very early, that you have to wait at least 2 to 3 hours after the plaster. So there must be a waiting room, and there is a issue of breastfeeding, so you have to give a separate room for that, and proper record keeping, because each and every correction needs the Pirani score jot down. So there will be a registry of that patient, and there will be in the OPD ticket or his file, we have to put on the data, and along with the contact for contact number for follow up also. It will helps in our study purposes, and also in good record keeping purpose. And also you have to put some stuff for maintenance a emergency problem helpline, because maximum child came from the remote place, and they don't know what to do, and they don't know about the disease, and even after proper counseling, even after repeated telling, they can't understand your words. So if how they assess, or if they got any problem, what they they will be very helpless, and that can cause a severe problem to the child as well as a medical legal problem of the treating surgeon. So in this case, yeah, now in the present scenario you must keep a team for emergency helpline number, and always describe and every prescription you must write in your their own language, that uh, regarding the all complication. Now what are the complication? Before going to complication, I just want to elaborate a 2 to 3 small point regarding the plaster, because we all do the plaster with the help of a sister or first year resident will be going to do this plaster. But at per my point of view, during our during our residency, I get the opportunity to do a plaster when I was in third year resident. Please keep a note, this is not a matter of joke, because this plaster needs highly experienced hand. You must do under a proper observation. In our OPD, there are maximum patients from trauma and low back pain, knee pain, varieties of cases. But if you want to run a special OPD for this CTB plus city baby, you must keep in your hand a good assistant, along with a trained team, along with a space, along with all the armamentarium for giving a proper plaster training. Otherwise, that will all the effort will goes in vain. And the best technique for seduce the child or reduce the activity of that baby is breastfeeding. It is just like anesthesia. You have to make a good rapport with the family member, and you have to politely ask the family member, and you have to make a good relation with their family member. They should counseling regarding this breastfeeding, and that will help for doing the plaster with the help of any sister or any lady attendants. You will do the plaster with a good hands support, who is who will help you in every direction of the plaster and every movement. Otherwise, one person cannot do a plaster. It is a medical legal negligence, or it is an offense to do a plaster in own hand, especially in case of CTB plaster, because it needs a proper correction. It needs a holding position, and after correction you have to hold this foot, and one will wrap the cotton, and after holding the foot, um, the assistant will wrap the plaster. After the wrapping the plaster, you have to again do the correction. Now regarding the plaster, you will put the plaster below knee first, then you have to go for above knee. And before going in details, I just want to inform you regarding the crime layer. What do we mean by crime layer? It is a wavy collagen, abnormal collagen present over the posterior middle aspect of all CTB child, that will be very notorious, or that is the criminal for this deformity. Because when, if you want to stretch it, that that wavy portion of the collagen which is seen in the under the microscope, that will get straightened up by stretching. But within 5 to 7 days or 6 to 7 days, that wave, that straight collagen fiber again will form wavy collagen fiber. So the frequency of plaster is every week. So this is called crime layer, and on the basis we used to do plaster after it reduction, and every week we used to do the plaster. Now, uh, why we used to do plaster above knee? Why? First of all, it will help to prevent the slippage of the plaster. Second, it will hold the abduction which has been done in the foot. Otherwise, if we do abduction, if we don't extend the plaster above knee, it cannot hold this external rotation. And last but not the least, the one of the most important deformity of CTB is equinus. If we flex the knee, keep flex the knee, then the gastrocnemius soleus will gastrocnemius will relax. As a result, the equinus will correct automatically. And during the reduction method, we should not touch the calcaneum, we should not touch any manipulation over the calcaneum. We first do the reduction of the talus, then do the reduction of the first metatarsal drop, and for first plaster we just reduce the first metatarsal drop. In that first plaster we never do abduction. From the second plaster onwards we will do the abduction. So again I repeat, in first plaster, before doing any plaster, for every sitting 2 to 3 minutes manipulation is mandatory. How to do the manipulation? We will put the thumb over the talar head, and we will hold the first metatarsal with two hand, and we will correct the talar head along with the first metatarsal drop. And how much pressure we will give, that will be that will also governed by the pressure who will giving. When there will be a blenching of the toe, or sorry, in the nail bed of the surgeon, that means that is enough stress has been given on that child. Got my point? When we are giving a pressure over the child foot, when the blenching of the nail bed is occur, means that, that is more than sufficient pressure has been given, because we can give enough stress over this foot, but it is not needed, or it is over corrected. So just blenching is sufficient for this stretching, and put the plaster below knee, then do the above knee. And first plaster do only first metatarsal drop, then onwards you go for abduction. And one is called, you have to look all the 5 toes, and the nail bed is called open toe box. And the plaster will extend up to the distal part of the toe. Otherwise the all the toe will go in flexion. Now, the complication of plaster. First and foremost and most common complication is pressure sore or plaster ulcer. So during our pressurization or correction of the foot, we keep in mind that during the holding we used to do one common mistake. We used to apply the plaster, then we correct. During this correction, after the plaster can be pressure, can give the pressure over the soft skin. That is the most common mistake done by us. So prevent this complication, what we have to do, hold the foot in reduced position, do the plaster in reduced position, then wait for plaster hardening in reduced position. Don't put the plaster in unreduced position and then reduce. Got my point? Reduce that foot, do the hold this foot in reduced position, then apply the plaster and hold this plaster in reduced position. Don't do over correction after plaster. That will help a lot. That will help this type of complication. And always give a good pad cover and antifungal powder also applied, and for after every plaster you will do a spirit use spirit or NS to clear all the skin debris. And overzealous correction may cause rocker bottom foot. Rocker bottom foot is due to mid-tarsal break. In this mid-tarsal region, due to overcorrection, there will be stretching of the ligament, and it can cause mid-tarsal break, and it can cause this type of deformity is called rocker bottom foot. And how we will manage is called reverse Ponseti cast. I forget about this the management of this type of this blister. We have to go for plaster holiday. What do you mean by plaster holiday? We should stop the plaster for that sitting, and we have to go for proper counseling of the family member that this is not a problem, this is due to very soft skin, it will heal automatically. The assurance is very important, otherwise patient can uh, go for court case. And we have to apply the antibiotic ointment, but you have to advise them, their mother or family member to do passive stretching before and after each breastfeeding. That will help a lot, otherwise patient will lost um, the achieved reduction. And regarding a rocker bottom foot, 1 to 2 words, if it is present from birth bilaterally, most common association is Edwards syndrome or Turner syndrome. Second, it may be present in from birth due to congenital vertical talus. This is the most common presentation of rocker bottom foot. Congenital vertical talus means the talus generally keep in 45-degree angle. But if it present in vertical position, then the medial arch of the foot will be reversed. As a result, this is called rocker bottom foot. And talus is a key bone of the keystone of the medial arch. So as it is kept vertical, then the arch will be reversed. This is called rocker bottom foot. That that treatment is to reduce this bone and do a operation, but the result is very bad. But it may be occur due to overcorrection or overzealous correction of the CTV procedure. Then what we will do, whatever done the correction of the CTV, that will be opposite in opposite direction in this is called reverse Ponseti. This is very difficult, but just know that. And sometimes due to ill treatment of or ill reduce or in inexperienced hand reduce, that the first toe will go inwards, and there will be multiple cages, and the all and the toe toe go infection, and deep crease will increase. That is called atypical club foot. That will be very difficult to manage. First, what we have to do, you have to reduce this first metatarsal flexion or shortening by giving a traction, and we should not put maximum effort in abduction. Maximum 45-degree abduction is recommended for this type of foot, and it needs a special care with a expert hand. And last but not the least is relapse or recur. After plaster, if patient not follow the bracing protocol, then that will be the most common problem. Now, regarding the bracing protocol, suppose we have done 5 to 7 plaster. Now, as equinus deformity is not corrected from the very beginning, so 80 to 90%, mind it, 80 to 90% patient need tenotomy. Tenotomy means a small operation by percutaneously. They will give a small local injection, and we can put a needle or very small blade, and we'll just enter in the insertion of the tendon Achilles and just cut from medial to lateral, not lateral to medial, because there is a neurovascular structure, nerve artery vein in the medial aspect. So if we put the knife from lateral aspect and go run through the middle aspect, then there will be chance of neurovascular injury. So put the blade or your tip of the needle through this, and you will put on lateral direction, then it will help to prevent the neurovascular injury. This is called percutaneous sternotomy. This sternotomy procedure can be done at OPT basis by local anesthesia only, and after this plaster, after hemostasis is maintained, you have to go for 3 weeks cast. This why this 3 weeks? Because after cutting this tendon, uh, to heal this 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 junction, that needs 3 weeks. And why it is stenotomy, not tenoplasty? Tenotomy means within 1 year of the child, the due to the varieties of the or the versatility of the anatomical structure around the tendinocheilis insertion, there is a huge fibroblast, new fibroblast, and is present. And if we just cut the fiber, that will just do a gap, but in this gap there will be new fibroblast, and that will that will heal up within 3 weeks. That is possible only before 1 year of child. So this is called tenotomy. But after 1 year, if we want to do this lengthening, we have to do a jet plasty. This is called tenoplasty. Okay. So in this child, as we started our CTP plaster very early, so we can do it after 5 to 6 cast. And when we have seen that we have achieved proper canvas correction, and we have achieved proper abduction, then we go for this sternotomy, because sometimes this equinus is not get corrected, and after correction we have to put the plaster. And if we have to look after the blood soakage, if there is blood soakage, you have to change the plaster, or you have to do a window dressing over this. You have to put this patient with some oral antibiotic and painkiller, or parectal painkiller for that day, and we will keep follow up after 3 weeks. After 3 weeks, we remove the plaster, and we will put that patient on bracing protocol. What do you mean by bracing protocol? It is actually a put the child with a special type of shoe which has a open toe box, and which is interconnected with a rod. This is this arrangement is called steel brake brace. Before this steel brake brace development is developed at Uganda, and development, the brace which is used in CTV is called Dennis Brown spin. This Dennis Brown spin has been obsolete now. Now it is replaced with this tin brake brace, or it is also called foot abduction brace. The length of this rod must be equal to the length of the shoulder joint. From this joint of this child, this is the length of this rod, and that must be matched. And regarding the external rotation, suppose this is the pathological side, you have to put this foot at least 70 degree external rotation, 60 to 70 degree external rotation. In case of normal side, it will put 45 degree external rotation. But if it is bilateral case, then both foot will be placed external rotation up to 60 to 70 degree. But if it is normal side, it is 45, it is abnormal side, it is 70 degree. It is externally rotated. This is the view from below. And why it is given? Because to prevent the achievable correction, because all the tissue is very malleable, and there is chance of recurrence of the disease which I uttered about the relapse or the recur. Fast metatarsal erection and drop the equinus are the most common deformity will recur. So the treatment protocol is called bracing protocol. We have to put the child on bracing protocol for 23 hours per day. You have to explain it to his mother that 23 hours per day means at a stretch 23 hours. No, you have to give um, mm, uh, 10 minutes slot at morning, then after 2 to 3 hours, then before the at noon, at afternoon, then at evening, then at the night, then at late night. So 10 minute, 10 minute, 10 minute, you can give a six slot. uh, you have to remove this plaster and you have to check for the proper hygiene care and the soft tissue to prevent the soft tissue pressure sore. So total 1 hour we can remove this, but uh, not more than 1 hour. It is 23 hours as a whole. You have to put this child with this tin break spin up to 3 to 4 months. Better safe in continuous 4 months. You have to keep it on this tin break speed. Then patient will come to the follow up. Then we will start night nap protocol. What do you mean by night nap protocol? It means we can use this tin break spleen during and the sleeping time. It when the baby will sleep, you will put this brace during the sleeping. This is called night nap protocol, and that is at least 8 to 12 hours or 14 hours per day. Now it have to be next 2 to 3 years, and when the child will start walking, then what we will do, we will use CTV shoes. The CTV shoes actually is is small difference that the medial bar will be straight, and there will be no heel, and the outer sole will be raised, so that the all deformity get corrected, will be checked in by this foot. So this is called CTV shoes. And every time you have to go for passive correction and manipulation, correction and manipulation in the free time. And during the daytime when child work, we have to use this type of foot, or we can use normal shoes in opposite side. We can use as a common procedure, and we have to keep a close follow up after every 2 months interval, because in this time the foot will increase in size. So the size of the breast will be increased in the time to time. So we have to take care of that. Otherwise, this toe will get adducted, or there will be pressure over this area. So we have to take care of the compliance of the breast. Now the whole treatment will take more than a month. Now Professor Ponsity, due to his dedicated effort from the whole world, all from the whole continent, patient or family try to fly to her, to him, to his institute, and get the treatment. And after but there is a problem he faced, that as the total duration of the treatment is too wide, then that family needs a long vacation, or needs a multiple flight tickets, or need to travel multiple times, or you have to stay out of their 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 work for a long time. So it will very problematic for this type of family. So what he have did it, he have started accelerated ponsity. Accelerated ponsity means we traditionally we use the ponsity treatment cast attending a weekly interval. Now what he have done, he have done two sitting within a week. Then total duration of the treatment will get decreased, and after theatre anatomy or doing in the plaster, and will send this patient to their native place and allow him for we using steel blade splint, and after 3 weeks of that plaster, if there is any problem, then that will be managed by local doctor. But main portion of the deformity correction and the soft tissue correction has been done excellently uh, at A1 institute. Then we will send it. So this is the recent advance is called uh, accelerated Ponseti method, and he has already published this data to the internet. Now, after this Ponseti technique, sometimes we cannot get proper correction, but before the era of Ponseti, there are various type of treatment like kites and the Golmos treatment, and they have seen that there are failure of plaster, and so they can offer some operation, like in case of resistant clubfoot or recurrent clubfoot or neglected clubfoot. What do you mean by neglected clubfoot? If any clubfoot is not treated at least 9 months, is called neglected clubfoot, and the treatment must be start as soon as possible for when it is detected as a CTB. But we should avoid first 28 days because it is early near period. The chance of sepsis or infection, or any respiratory infection or plaster care is very difficult to take. So better try this counsel the family member with the passive stitching at home, and please start the plaster after 28 days. That will help a lot. Now the regarding the operative management, they have uttered the term is called posterior medial soft tissue release, PMSTR, but that must be done after 1 year. And there is also equal tendon transfer, and there is some bony procedure is called Dwyer osteotomy, and there is some bony procedure with the dull dysfunction is called Dillwyn Evans osteotomy. Then there is a procedure is called Iliarov, you already know, all the deformity get corrected. Then there will be a procedure, salvage procedure is called triple arthrodesis, there or Dune arthrodesis. And last but not the least, there is talectomy also. In case of neglected CTB with a multiple sore, we can just remove the talus, we can get rid of that deformity and the sore. It's called talectomy. It's a salvage operation. But regarding the outcome of all these operative procedures is very bad, and putting a layer of ring in a so in a 2 years or 3 years kid is very difficult because the bone quality is not good, and maintenance of this the type of the ring is very difficult. So we should not go for this type of invasive posterior because that can damage the posterior posteriotubular artery and nerve, and sometimes the anterotubular artery is absent. So in that case, they need some vascular surgeon to get the repair, and after this proper correction, there may be a scar tissue. Again, the deformity will occur. So for this kid, if we do big operation, in the long run, the all the procedure goes in vain. So better avoid this type of operation. Just know the name. That's all. Best operative method for neglected case of CTB or any relapse case or any resistant case is, or any rigid case, is JES. Is called Joshi's external stabilizing system. Do you know Joshi is Indian doctor? So this is our pride that this instrument has been developed in India, and Joshi's external stabilizing system. And principle of this system is differential destruction. Differential destruction means as it is a deformed foot, you have to put K wire through and through the bone, and apply a a distractor. And if we distract this foot 1 millimeter, you have to distract this area 0.5 millimeter. Otherwise, that deformity will not get corrected. Or if you distract only 1 millimeter here but you don't do any correction over here, then the foot will not uh, mm, increase in size. So you have to distract both side, but 2 is to 1 ratio. This is called differential distraction. And by differential distraction, gradually we can correct that deformity as like Ilyarov. And all the deformity can be addressed by this without any soft tissue damage, without any blood wound scar. But it will take time, but it will correct it very nicely. After the correction, we can put we can remove the all pin under anesthesia, and we can put it with a bracing protocol. Again start the same protocol as and a CTB plaster pond CT done, and that will be keep in the close follow up and passive stretching. That will be okay, and it will be 100% correctable. And keep in mind, the follow up must be up to 4 year, because after 4 year no need of follow up, because the gene is responsible for this type of deformity will get inactivated after 4 years. Okay. And last word regarding the CTB. Suppose one child came with this deformity in relapse case, or or in a neglected case. First, try to start passive stretching and Ponsity method at least 5 sitting. If there is no improvement in Pirani score, then we should go for this JES procedure. So indication of the JES procedure, at least we have to the minimum age is to 1 to 2 years, and before that we always try to do by Ponsity plaster technique, because it is very easy, very very wise to do this plaster without doing any intervention. And last word regarding this Ponsity, the procedure of plaster is the main key point of the success of this deformity, and it will be 100% correctable. So always do the plaster with a expert hand, or at least uh, with the guidance of an expert person. That is the key of this success in CTB. I think I can cover all your query. Thank you.